As we look at the pages of history, Thomas Jefferson and Woodrow Wilson stand out as the two presidents who did the most to try to assure peace in the future. Jefferson's approach was to find ways to avoid war, and as President of the United States, he was in a position to commit his country in that direction. Today's lunch alert is sponsored by the Patriot Gold Group. Gold has outperformed the stock market ever since Ben Bernanke's famous 2002 speech about helicopter money. The first thing he did was to buy the Louisiana Territory in 1803. This was one of the first instances on record, in fact, maybe the first, of a nation paying cash for a real estate deal, and just like a private citizen would, and transferring the ownership from one country to the other peacefully without a war. Jefferson hoped that this precedent would make war obsolete, and it certainly made it less likely. The second part of Jefferson's commitment was less admirable. At the end of his term in 1807 and 1808, Britain and France were devastating American merchant shipping, impressing seamen to make them join the British Navy, and inspecting cargoes and seizing goods they claimed were contraband. Rather than fight them on the seas, a tough task against the British Navy, Jefferson announced an embargo, but an embargo on the US that stopped us from shipping anything to them. Trade tariffs usually work the other way. And of course, the embargo is a disaster, not for Britain, but for New England and the US, that was the maritime center, and it backfired massively. Jefferson had already been reelected and didn't run for a third term, but it made the Madison administration that followed increasingly difficult. And eventually the controversy led to the War of 1812. It's worth noting that this process of exploring alternatives to war is something that Donald Trump has done very well, very close to his heart. His whole emphasis on economic sanctions against Russia and against Iran is all designed to prevent war and represents a new phase in the history of diplomacy. Thanks for watching. Today's lunch alert is sponsored by the Patriot Gold Group. Gold has outperformed the stock market ever since Ben Bernanke's famous 2002 speech about helicopter money. U.S. debt is over $35 trillion and expected to grow by another 20 million over the next 10 years. Since politicians need happy voters, there's no incentive at all to stop printing money. So gold is up 29% in 24, and silver is up 32%. With another 20 trillion in debt coming in, imagine where they'll be in 10 years, or in 5, or in 2, or even next year. Call the Patriot Gold Group. The Patriot Gold Group offers no fee for life IRAs to viewers of these videos. The IRA minimums are $25,000 and $100,000 for the no fee for life IRA. So call the Patriot Gold Group and ask for the no fee for life IRA.